Now, let's go to the story. Now that we have possibly got some prosecutions coming and some investigations, no better person to talk to than the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, my friend Senator Pat Leahy from Vermont. Pat, I got to cool down a little bit here, if I can. This, Senator, does this really open the door for an investigation and possible prosecution? Does this change, does the pendulum swing now that the president has said this today?
Well, I think it does. Of course, I'd say to Dick Cheney that if he feels this strongly about it, feel free to come before my committee under oath and let us ask him some questions. Frankly, a number of Republicans have told me privately that they cringe every time he's on TV. He's one of the least popular people in the country, and they hate to see that as the face of their party. But I think this does open it up. I agree with the president that the lower level players who were told this is okay, this is the law, follow the law, I'm not as concerned about going after them as I am the people who knew they were misstating the law, who knew they were giving the wrong directions, who were willing to set the White House and those around the White House as being above the law. I grew up to believe in the United States of America, nobody's above the law. Not the president, not the vice president, not somebody working for them.
Senator, what do you think Dick Cheney's strategy is that once a month he comes out and takes basically cheap shots at this newly elected president inside 100 days? I mean, this guy is the most quoted and the most visible former vice president in the history of the country. What do you think his strategy is? What is he trying to accomplish?
I don't know what he's trying to accomplish, but I noticed when they had the reunion, when former President Bush had the reunion down in Texas of all the people around him, the one person noticeably absent was Dick Cheney. I think that I'm not sure what he's doing. He just seems to be irrational in some of the things he is saying. And I think it is, as you say, almost like, gosh, if we get hit again, I'll prove my point. But I applaud you for stating we get hit the first time on their watch. This is the administration that on September 10th wanted to cut almost in half our counterterrorism funding on September 10th. On September 12th, they wanted to double it. I don't want to hear any lectures from Dick Cheney about keeping this nation safe.
How aggressive will the Senate now be that President Obama says the door is open? What's the next step? Is it all on the desk of the Attorney General, Mr. Holder, at this point?
Well, I think a lot of it's on the desk of Mr. Holder, but I intend to continue my investigation.
What are you going to do?
Well, for one thing, we now have many of the OLC opinions. I want to find just who directed anybody to write this kind of garbage, and we'll find that out. The Intelligence Committee is doing their own on the intelligence side. Obviously, I'd like to have a full-blown, nonpartisan commission look into the whole thing, bring it all out at once, not in a partisan hearing, but in an open hearing, sort of like we did after 9/11.
Well, that's the big question, Senator. Can you get bipartisan support? And then the president said that today, if it can be a hearing or an investigation on the Hill with bipartisan support, are there any Republicans that would go along with this, or is this going to be a partisan issue?
So far, there are no Republicans, and if we don't have Republicans go along with the commission, we're going to have to do it ourselves.
Would you? Would you do it yourself?
Oh, yes. I mean, I'll keep asking these questions. This is not going to go away. Some people said to me, turn the page. I said, I kind of like to read the page before I turn it.
Now, what about Judge Bybee? You said today in a release that you think that he should resign. How adamant are you about that?
Let's understand, with Judge Bybee, if the Bush-Cheney administration told the truth about him, if he told the truth about what he did, he never would have been confirmed by the Senate. He never would have become a judge. I think the only decent and honorable thing for him to do now that these facts have come out is to resign.
What if he doesn't resign?
Resign for the good of the judiciary. I mean, what he's done is a total blot on him, and it reflects on the rest of the judiciary. He should do the decent and honorable thing and step down.
And if he doesn't resign, what's the next step, if anyone?
Well, that would, of course, be up to the House. I'm not trying to pass the buck there. I haven't thought that one through, but he never would, if he told the truth to begin with, he never would have been confirmed. What he ought to do now is a decent and honorable thing and step down.
Senator Leahy, great to have you with us tonight. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.